Good day, everybody. I thought I would talk a bit about what has happened in our pagan community. At least it came to my mind yesterday in talking about Kenny Klein. By the way, I should say that today is March 28th, 2014, in case you look back at this in the archives. I was really quite hurt to read so much about what was written about Kenny. I do know Kenny for many years. And unfortunately, we do hear things about our elders, our teachers, other authors, but what is really sad is you never know what to believe or what not to believe because basically witch wars. There's lots of politics. People have spoken about me badly in the past. People have spoken badly about everybody because maybe they just want a lot of attention on themselves. And I've heard some pretty horrendous things about other people. But then when you get to know them and you go, maybe this is not true. Now, I'm not making light of anything. I myself witnessed and had to deal with a lot of violence in my own life. And certainly it leaves scars. So when you hear stuff like this, as a mom of 3, it really hurts. It kind of gets you in the gut. It really, really hurts. That now, what is even worse about it is that something like this might come or might have happened from someone that and on some level cared for. Kenny Klein has done a lot for our pagan community. A lot of his teachings with Blue Star, the largest Alexandrian organization, in the United States, at least at one time. And this is, my studies and such. So on that, there's no doubt, and his music is great, and he's got a great talent, when it comes to his music and his art and his photography. But that put aside, that doesn't justify bad behavior. Now, I don't know all of the stories. I don't know all of what was said. I've read many, many articles yesterday, and a lot of people are justifiably upset when you hear stories like this. And I'm very upset. I'm upset on many different levels because I don't know the exact truth. I know what media says, but I also know what the media can do to people. You know what I mean? And how it can hurt people. People's perceptions. When you write an article, your bias comes through. Child pornography is I abhor it. It is disgusting, and I absolutely see no reason why anybody should even look or participate. I find people that find this type of, I don't know what the right word is, I don't know if I want to say entertainment or whatever, I find that these people are quite ill. And to take the innocence away from a child is disgusting. It just shows that they never had a childhood, probably experienced violence in their lives, and are looking to control another through using sex. But in this case, it's not sex, it's not love, it's violence, it's control over. Maybe somebody's trying to regain an innocence that they thought was taken from them. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. This is just all my own opinions. That set aside, did he really do this? Yes, it says that he confessed to this. That actually kind of brought a tear to my eye. I think anybody in our community would feel that way. You kind of feel a bit let down. You feel like, what the hell's going on here? Why would anybody preach one thing and then do something like this? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out, a lot more information coming out about this. I'm not going to give my opinion either way until this is brought to trial, and we find out the extent If this is true, are there other people involved? If this is not true, who did it? And again, I know what was said in the papers, and I only state that because I don't believe everything I read in the papers. So I'm not trying to blast anybody, and everybody is justifiably hurt, and I get that. I am too. Reading that, the human side of me wants to yell, scream, which I did plenty yesterday. I was very upset. Spoke to my community here, spoke to the coven, and we're trying to find some resolve, but I don't think there's going to be any resolve regardless of what happens here. What I am worried about is how the community is taking this and what we can do to better ourselves. Because now a lot of people are saying, well, it's the victims for not standing up, in the past. We're not just talking about Kenny. I'm using him now as an example. But, we've heard lots of people, blasted and slandered over the years. And now people are saying, well, it's the community's fault for not stepping forth and reporting these people. Well, guess what? Because of politics, you don't know what's truth. There's lots of witch wars going on. And, who's telling the truth? Do you take a side? Well, that's ridiculous because there's like 20 sides to every story. You don't know what the truth is. You don't know what's happening. Sometimes people mesh stories together. It's the telephone game. Things change all the time. So let us not blame the victims here, and let us not blame the community here. Let's learn from this incident. It's the best thing that we can do. It happens in every religion. It happens in every community. This is not a pagan thing. This is not a religious thing, because certainly in regards to child pornography and molestation, this is not a religious thing. This is not a spiritual thing. So anybody that would think that, you're dumb. Okay? Plain and simple. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the shortcomings of human beings in general. So we have to learn to respect one another, don't we? And I know sometimes I'm a bit crass, but it is what it is. Ego gets in the way. Everybody wants to take a side. But believe me, we'll probably never know the truth on this. So the best thing that we can do is to get about healing one another. And no, I'm not a fluffy bunny, and I'm saying love and peace and all that other stuff. I'm not about that. What I am about is getting down to the basics and go, okay, we have some work to do in this community. And we have to go about supporting one another. And in regards to children, keep an eye on your kids, please. Just keep an eye on them. I run a festival myself here, and parents have to stay there while the events are happening. Parents are not allowed to just drop their kids off and walk away. Be smart. Just be smart. If your gut's telling you that something's not right, then go with it. Don't blame the shortcomings of others, of yourself, onto others. We have to love one another, don't we? And love means respect. Nobody said you had to like the person that you love, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But respect one another. Stop blasting one another. Stop putting blames on one another. Oh, if you're still a friend on this person's page, well then, you're not with the cause. Give me a break. Okay? Life isn't all about pleasing one another. You can't take a side. The side is? The side of children. The side of community. And let people decide for themselves, and don't blast them for that. There's, I think, a bit too much of that going on. Ego gets in the way. If you're a pagan, you're supposed to understand those things. Pick up a book on psychology. Read some Jung. Maybe read some Joseph Campbell and understand the mythologies and what that's all about. And get ego out of it. It's really important. Again, I'm not taking sides. I don't know who's right or wrong in this. I do know that child pornography is wrong. That I stand for. I'm the mother of 3 sons. So I kind of get that. I don't know what I would do if somebody had done that. I probably wouldn't be so calm, that's for sure. I know that. But we kind of have to figure out what we can do now to move forward. And I think that's really, really important to help this community out and stop blaming this person or that person or this community and such. What I am also worried about is the fate of those children. Every one of those kids in those videos has been hurt. I don't know, what we can do to help that. I really don't know, because the names of those children will never be revealed. But I bet you there are some parents, the parents of those kids, that may be even partially responsible for that. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I feel for those children, and that's what kept me up last night. It isn't that this person did this and this person did that. I was really feeling for those kids last night. And I think that the best way to handle things at this point is if every individual group, every individual person, coven, grove, kindred, whatever you call your group, were to get together and to do something for those children. That's the most important thing here. We can get over our hurts, okay? We can do that, all right? We're adults. For those have been victimized, and don't like using that word in the past, well, we know what not to do in the future, don't we? And then we move on and heal. It's the wounded healer syndrome. We all understand that. I'm a part of that. But what about those children now that really need our help? So how do we heal? We get over things, that's for sure. And then maybe do something for those children. Keep an eye out on things. People were blaming festivals that have nudity and stuff like that. I don't know what to say about that. I myself, I'm not comfortable going nude. I'm not. It's just my thing. I'm a big girl. Maybe it's my lack of confidence, but whatever. I'm human. But I do find a lot of the festivals beautiful. I really do. And I admire the freedoms that other people have. Again, maybe that highlights my own shortcomings. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I do know I enjoy them, and I enjoy being a part of them, and Starwood and Brushwood and, all the different other festivals that are out there. I do enjoy them, and I respect the work of the people, who put them on. Let's not put the blames on festivals either. There's so much that can be said about all of this. But I guess the bottom line is let's help one another. Let's kind of respect one another. A lot of people are hurting. Stop hurting one another because of your opinions. And see what we can do to kind of move on. I guess I'm mad at the fact that this can even happen. I'm mad at the fact that child pornography even exists. Guess what? So I guess that's a bit more broad. But I guess it wouldn't exist if there wasn't a demand for it. I guess that just shows lack of respect for one another. Lack of respect for oneself. Because if you do that, you really don't respect yourself at all. So, getting back to the issue is that this exists. And the issue is that people want this to exist, that there's the demand for it at all. And we need to heal one another instead of being mad at one another for whose side you're going to take. So let's move on. See what we can do. Maybe hug somebody today. Think about things. You don't have to be inflammatory on Facebook or attacking anybody. Go about making the day a little bit better. There's lots going on. There's a lot of work to be done. There'll be more to come out, I'm sure, once things go to trial, and we'll be hearing a lot more about this thing, about this issue, about this awful event. It's so awful, I guess I don't even know how to put it into words. But I guess, again, that's my opinion. And everybody's entitled to theirs. You may agree with what I've said, may not agree, and that's okay too. It really is. But you know what? There's a lot we have to accomplish, don't we? And we have to be better, don't we? A friend of mine told me yesterday that leaders, prominent pagans, teachers, authors, are held to a higher standard. And you know what? I do agree. That doesn't mean we've all done a good job of it, but I do agree. And that might seem limiting. Maybe your freedoms are limited on some level, and you have to be a little bit more politically correct. Now, I know I have to work on that one. But if you choose to take on that role, then you should know the responsibilities that go along with it. It's not about power. Power's all perception, isn't it? Power is almost kind of false, isn't it? Because I really don't know what that's supposed to mean. But anyway, be good to one another, people. I know I don't do these video posts too often, and I've been asked to do so. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But be good to one another. Get about doing what is right for community, what is right for the pagan, heathen, Asatru, Wiccan, monotheistic, polytheistic world. I think we should just go about, doing better and studying the craft, understanding what it's about, what your personal ethics are, be the best that you can be when it comes to that, and maybe do something good for one another, whatever that is. Like I said, we're all fallible. We all have issues. We all have problems, but we could deal with it, can't we? We can work with that. So be good to one another, everybody. I hope it's a great day for you. Feel free to post. I need some caffeine. Haven't had any yet. And you know what? I was going to say I pray that we can get on with things, but I know we can. It's not a matter of whether we can or we can't. We can, and we can do better. Little less name calling, and let's go about doing something that makes a difference. So blessings, everybody. This is Bernadette Montana of Breed's Closet, and I hope all is really, really, really well and cool and awesome for you. Bye-bye.